Hello, everyone. My name is Norman Hayes, the president of Elevated Construction. It's an honor to be able to speak to you at Procore's Groundbreak today. And I want to talk to you about the subject of 4 ways to build an aligned team and provide professional development for your team members. The biggest thing that we find is that you have to have an aligned team with the mission, vision, and values of your company. Your mission and your vision has to be so large that everyone within your company's vision for their lives and their professional, financial, and personal goals can fit within that. And so one of the things we try to do is provide a clear mission, vision, and values. Our mission statement is to become our client's trusted advisor for life. We want to bring the absolute most value to our clients, and we preach that through the company and continue to teach our team members how important it is to deliver an elevated difference, hence the name of the company, Elevated Construction. It is our primary focus that every client experience an unparalleled level of service that they can't find anywhere else in the marketplace. So that's one of the things we really teach our team, is that in order for them to be able to get their professional, their personal, and their financial goals, they're going to have to deliver that level of service and be aligned with our mission. Our vision is to create a remarkable company that has $1 billion in annual revenue and brings value that is unparalleled in the marketplace to each and every one of our clients on every project. We find that having that mindset permeates its way through the entire organization and allows our team members to see through example of the leadership team, and then all the way down through our foremen, our superintendents, our project managers, the entire team, that we want to bring a remarkable level of service so we can get the repeat business over and over again. This has really taught our team to almost act as if a sports team. A lot of times we compare ourselves to the NFL because in order to remain an elevated team member, you have to perform at a level that is unparalleled in the industry. And finally, our values. One of our key values is preeminence. A lot of people don't know what the word preeminence means, but preeminence is a thought that you literally sit across in your client's body and look through their eyes. What's important to them? What do they want out of the project? What is their end value and end dream when that project is complete? And when you can be preeminent and act in the client's best interest at all times, it'll bring repeat business over and over again. And this has really helped our team grow as a team because they're able to say, hey, we can get repeat business and we can grow and get bigger opportunities for advancement through the fact that we deliver preeminence to every one of our clients. Another value that we have is a commitment to success. We never, ever leave a project undone, uncompleted, or without the client being completely satisfied. And this has really brought us to a whole other level. We actually have over 90% of our work is negotiated. We rarely bid something unless we're going after an ideal client, because of the fact that once we deliver that level of service, price is not an issue anymore. We have an expression in our company, price is only an issue in the absence of value. So when you act with preeminence and a commitment to success, along with being accountable, is our third value. And I'll tell you something, accountability within the team, if you're not doing your job and you look to the person next to you and they're getting let down, it really holds people accountable and helps them to realize how important each and every team member's job is. Our fourth value is transparency. Transparency is extremely important. There's so many times when people don't say what's really on their mind, and that creates a divide amongst the team. So in order to build an aligned team, you must have transparency so everyone can be on the same page and not be having resentments or a grudge against one another. And finally, our fifth value is a commitment to quality. Without quality and the quality end product, that client's dreams can't become the reality. And when you can bring the absolute best product, be completely preeminent in looking at what they want, bring extreme value every single time, that results in an aligned team because they see the success. They want to be part of the team. And we actually have our team members, we have a program in place where we actually give a referral fee for our team members to bring in other people in the industry who they feel would be a good fit within our company. And it's really taken us to a whole nother level. So the first point that I had spoken about is the mission, vision, and values. And we find it extremely important to be able to take that to your team and clearly explain that to all team members. The second step that we find super important in order to build an aligned team and provide professional development for your team is to be able to find and attract the right type of people. This is what we call the elevated hiring process. It's a multi-step process that we go through where first, especially due to COVID, we have the Zoom interview, and we go through and we make sure that they really fit in three critical areas. Number one, behavioral. Are they a good cultural fit for our company? Technical. Do they have the skill set, the knowledge, the abilities to be able to do that role? And finally, the core values fit. Are they able to have the core values that align with who we are and who we want to represent in the marketplace? Those three attributes are extremely important. So the first portion of our interview process is to do a Zoom call. The second piece is to have an in-person with their direct supervisor and along with an executive member of our team so that we can go into the fact of what our culture is like, how we want to see ourselves represented in the marketplace, and also go into some technical things. We actually give them a technical capabilities test where if it's an estimator, we'll give them a set of blueprints and have them go through and pick out the trades that are required for that estimate. If they can't do that in an initial interview, then you probably don't have the right fit. And finally, we share our core values with them and we ask them, as far as accountability, how do you feel about accountability? And give us an example of when you've had to be accountable for something and how you handled it, especially when you made a mistake. How did you make sure that you held yourself accountable? Another piece of it is transparency. If something comes up, there's an issue, there's a challenge, how do you handle that? And how do you feel about preeminence? How do you feel about sitting in the client's seat and really feeling what they feel? And that interview is such a key process because the third part is where they actually come back for a final interview. We give them our mission, our vision, and our values. And they come back and we have them put together a PowerPoint presentation that says, here's Elevated's mission to become our client's trusted advisor for life. And how would you help contribute to that? Here's our vision. Here's our values. How do you align with our values? Because if we're bringing someone into, as we talked about, the NFL, and we have a team that has to be aligned, and we're not going out to win the division or take second place in the division. We're going out to win the Super Bowl every year. And if we don't have a team that has behaviorally, they're all aligned, technically, they can do their jobs, and do they fit the core values? Because if you don't fit the core values, then you're going to have misalignment. And if you have misalignment, not only is it going to be seen within the company, but your clients are going to see it. And that's one of the reasons that we've been so successful. As I stated earlier, 90% of our work is negotiated. And that's because our clients see that our team is aligned. When there's a problem, we don't avoid it. We don't push it off. We're absolutely transparent about it. We take accountability for it. And we think to ourselves, what do we need to do to make this right with the client? And when you take those three facts of, are they behaviorally aligned? Do they have the technical skills to do it? And how do they fit with the elevated core values? That's a winning combination in the interview process. We found it to be extremely successful. I've spoken about the first two steps that Elevated Construction uses to make sure that we find and attract and build an aligned company and bring professional development to our company. The first two steps were to make sure that people align with our mission, our vision, and our values. And the second piece is to make sure that we find and attract talent, that they have the behavioral concepts, they have the technical capabilities to the job, and they're fit with our core values, our mission, our vision, and our values. The third part of our hiring process and building an aligned team is to make sure that the onboarding process goes well. You can hire the best people in the world, and if you drop the ball during the onboarding process, it can completely ruin the entire process. The fact of the matter is, people come into a job, they're nervous, they're unsure, and if you can give them the certainty of, here's what we expect of you, number one, if you don't know what's expected of you, how are you supposed to do your job properly? So we actually take a 2-week process for everyone that comes on board. And we make sure that we run them through our mission, our vision, our values, make sure that they also speak with other team members while they're in the office, and make sure that they have lunch with them, make sure that they have one-on-ones with different people within the department, other departments, to make sure that they can really see what the elevated difference is all about. The other part of it is during the onboarding process, we always make sure that they mirror another person within that role. So if it's a superintendent, we'll have them go out to another job site for a week or 2 weeks and watch them, how they do their daily reports in Procore, how they make sure that the pictures are uploaded, how they do their RFIs. And we really teach them not only what happens in the field, but also how to be a groundbreaker and use Procore and be able to create the reports and the information that our clients can see from anywhere around the world 24/7. And I will tell you that utilizing the onboarding process of really getting them ingrained in Procore, as well as the company culture, as well as what safety aspects we have, how we run a job, how we interface with our clients, has really made a difference. So you can go ahead and you can talk about your mission, vision, values, you can attract the right people, but if you don't onboard them right, that's where the problems really start. The other thing is we, as we're bringing them on board, we talk to them about the fact that we're trying to build a billion-dollar company. In order to build a billion-dollar company and have 90% negotiated work, you really have to have a big mission, vision, and values. And our mission is so big, and our vision of being a billion-dollar corporation, that we want them to be able to share in the victory and share in the victors of the spoils of the victor. And so what we do is we sit them down and we have a form that we have them fill out about their 1, their 3, and their 5-year goals, both personally, professionally, and financially. Because not all your employees are going to want the same thing. Some people, they have young families, they want to take vacations. Matter of fact, one of our guys, and it's really cool, he said, I've been married 8 years and it's my wife's birthday. It's my wife's 35th birthday coming up in a year and a half, and we never went on a honeymoon. And I'm actually almost getting choked up talking about this, because I said, well, what would you want to do? What would it mean to you to take her on that honeymoon? You just blow her mind, and it'd be her 35th birthday. And he said, I'd like to go to Bora Bora. So we sat down, we opened up the internet, we looked up what kind of resorts there were, how much it would cost, how much the airfares would cost. And we build a program for 1, 3, and 5 years for their personal, their professional, and their financial goals. So what do they want to do personally? What do they want to do with their family life, their personal life, their health? What do they want to do from a professional standpoint? If they're a junior project manager, how could they become a project manager, a director, a vice president? What steps would they need to take? And we help outline that so that they can get to those goals. And then finally, financially, what do they need to do if right now they're coming in an entry-level position, or even a guy or a woman who's at a level, is at an executive level, and they said, I'd like to make more money. I just feel like I contribute so much to the company. So we sit down and we establish some KPIs, key performance indicators, that if they meet these KPIs, they're able to increase their value to the company, and therefore they can increase their own personal income and be able to have a better financial stability. So really having PPF goals is something that very, very few companies do. We learned about it from working with Cardone Ventures. It's a company that really has taken us to a whole nother level. They structure their entire program around helping companies, not just in the construction industry, but in multiple industries. And they also work with general contractors, subcontractors, material suppliers, and they help them grow their company. One of the things that they've helped us with is this entire how to build an aligned company and be able to provide professional development for your team. And when you do that, you're absolutely unstoppable. So I've talked about the first 3 of the 4 steps on how to develop a aligned team and provide professional development for them. First was the mission, vision, values. Second was finding and attracting the right people that fit within your organization, have the skill set to be able to do it, as well as they fit within your core values. And the third point was talking about getting them to be aligned, to be able to have personal, professional, and financial goals, so that they can see where they can go while the company grows. And that really aligns them with helping you to reach your mission and reach where you want to go with the company. The final step is step 4. And I'll tell you, this is one of the hardest ones to do, but yet one of the most absolutely impactful opportunities for you to help grow your company and maintain that growth, is to be able to develop and retain people. People want to be trained. People a lot of times come into an organization and you think about it, you go to school for 4 years, then you get out and you do your job. Well, you know what? If you're not growing, you're dying. I'm sure you've heard that before. And so one of the things that we do is we make sure that we have a lot of different opportunities for our people to train. Every one of our team members has to do 2 to 3 sessions a day on Cardone University, which is an opportunity to go in and learn how to better interact with our customers, better interact with each other, how to have a better attitude, how to be able to really think in a positive way so you can contribute better to the company. And so if you have an employee and you're not investing in them, they really can feel that. But when you go and take the time and make sure that we have safety training, we have financial training, we even have training opportunities to be able to do speaking, to be able to do sales. So if you think about it, everybody in your organization is part of the sales team, all the way down to your labor, all the way up to the president. Everyone who interacts with a client represents your company. And if you're not training them, then they're out there and they're sort of freestyling it, and they can really deliver some bad information for your company. But when you role play, and we actually bring in our superintendents, we bring in our foremen, have our project managers sit down, and we'll have a role playing of a meeting with the client. And we go ahead and train them on and give them tips about how to talk to customers, if there's a problem, how to react to it. If someone is really upset with them, how they can go back and properly respond to be able to calm the situation down. And as well, we offer a opportunity for them to go back to school. We offer an opportunity that they have to bring us an opportunity if there's a particular seminar or continuing education program that they want to go to. They have to write up a paper that is a 1-page document that says, here's what I want to do, here's why I want to do it, here's the value I think is going to improve me as an employee, and here's what the value I think is going to bring to the company. And this has gone a long way because people really feel valued when you go ahead and you develop them and you retain them. The other part is that we talk about me development as well as we development. You can't be a good leader if you can't control yourself. So one of the things we teach our team is about how to properly respond to things so that they can be a better leader in the field. When a subcontractor is yelling at our superintendent, he could obviously yell back and become angry. We try to teach them how to become a better me leader, take that information in, respond appropriately. And then that gives them an opportunity because of the fact they stick out, they stand out, they excel, they're outstanding at their jobs, to be able to get a promotion and go to the general superintendent or the director of field operations. So in order to retain your team and develop your team, you have to invest in your team. And that goes back to the goal alignment. If you're willing to invest in yourself, then you're going to be more valuable to the team. Then your personal and professional and your financial goals will be met because of the fact that you're bringing more value to the team because you invest in yourself and the company was willing to invest our resources in you so that you can get to the next level. And when you constantly talk about that, and that just becomes the way of the culture and who we are and what we stand for, the elevated difference, really trying to make sure that our employees are constantly improving, not being status quo, not having the old standard ways. We do a lot of training on Procore. We do make sure that our superintendents don't just do superintendent certification, they do project management certification. We make sure that we work with our subcontractors so that when they submit their invoices, they're submitting them through Procore. That way, we're not only training our internal team, we're training our external team, and we're retaining subcontractors and vendor relationships. And the more you can build an aligned team, not just internally, but with your external partners as well, the more you'll differentiate yourself in the marketplace and the more you'll be able to retain not only your employees, but your subcontractors and your clients because they can see the difference. Finally, is that we do what's called an EMM, an employee maturity model. When you come in the company as a, let's say, project engineer fresh out of school, here's the steps you need to take, here's the training you need to do, and here's the KPIs you need to meet in order to get to the next level. That's not saying that you're going to get promoted if we're not at a point to promote you at that point. But here, if you are ready and you've done the things that we've laid out for you in an employee maturity model, here's how you can go from being a project engineer to an assistant project manager to a project manager to a director to a vice president of construction, or same thing in the field. How do you go? How does a laborer become a general superintendent? So we lay out the employee maturity model so they have a vision of where they can go, and that in order for us to become $1 billion corporation, they need help contribute to that. But in return, they will see a drastic reward unparalleled in the industry. This has really helped us to grow throughout this economy. I'll tell you, laying out the personal, professional, and financial goals, have an employee maturity model, and investing in your team so that they can become a better aligned team, a better trained team. And the fact that they have professional development opportunities has allowed us to have extremely high rate of employee retention. Thank you very much for allowing me to talk to you today about how to build an aligned team and provide professional development for your team members. Just remember that you can develop an outstanding team as long as you create a clear company culture with mission, vision, and values, and live that from the top of your company all the way through every one of your team members. The second part of it is to find and attract the right type of people. Make sure they have the behavioral can-do attitude. Make sure they have the technical skills to be able to do the job. And most importantly, make sure they have the core values fit for where your company is going in terms of culture. The third piece of it is to make sure that they're aligned regarding onboarding, making sure that they understand not only the technical aspects of their job, but the fact that they can also, how they interact with clients, how they interact with each other, what your culture is about, and make sure that you spend time onboarding them so that they can become a good fit and hit the ground running. Finally, it's so important to develop and retain your people. Make sure you invest in them, show them personal, professional, and financial goals they can achieve over a 1, a 3, and a 5-year period, and allow them to be able to grow and also win along with the company. When your company grows, the person should be rewarded personally, professionally, and financially. And finally, make sure that they have an employee maturity model, that they can see the path they need to take, the training they need to do, the ways they need to improve themselves so they can bring more value to the company. And as the company grows, you in turn, it's your responsibility to reward them and help their lives to become their dreams to become their reality. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. Go out there and be great.